podcast.
All of these are important and notable challenges for sure. As I sat working through what I wanted to say and contemplating which of these had impacted my life the most and the lives of people who look like me, I kept coming back to the fact that systemic racism permeates every aspect of our lives, of our society, institutions, and organizations. It's woven into the fabric of this country. There are linkages to all the other noted challenges that we highlight and are facing to systemic racism. It's racism that's embedded as a normal practice within our society. It perpetuates systems that are in place to create and maintain inequality in nearly every facet of the lives of people of color, notably and especially Black people. The disparities we see in health outcomes, incarceration rates, housing, education, employment, police brutality, and wealth are all due to systems that prevent and make it more difficult for people of color to participate at scale in the varying aspects of our country and the economy. These systems are set up structurally to maintain the status quo and the resultant outcomes that are inherent in the systems, which for us means disinvestment, disenfranchisement, shorter lifespans, limited income and wealth potential, negative impacts to our families due to mass incarceration, limited access to a quality education, political participation, as well as a psychological burden that impacts people of color as a result. We see the effects in our neighborhoods and communities across America. We are more conscious now, let me restate that. The majority community is more conscious now of these systems and how they work to create disparities in this country. Some have known that the game has been rigged for a long time. Some are just waking up to find that there are systems designed to inherently produce a certain and specific outcome. There are those who will talk about these systems individually, as to dismiss them as one-off. So they'll talk about slavery in a vacuum, but not talk about the legacy that has played out from this 400-year franchise. They'll talk about Jim Crow and then Reconstruction as if that solved the issues of racism and closed the disparities that existed. They'll talk about the Voting Rights Act of 1965, paying homage to the late great American hero John Lewis, but not voter suppression. They'll talk about redlining and how that ceased to exist in 1968 or was outlawed, but not the effects of that redlining had on our communities through lack of home ownership and lack of a tax base to support our schools, our healthcare and transportation systems, and the over-policing of our neighborhoods as a result. They'll talk about the war on drugs, but not focus on the negative implications and the dismantling of the Black family as a result. As a result of all of these and more, we can see the chasms of disparity that exist in what we think of as the normal opportunity indicators. Opportunity indicators such as income, wealth, the criminal justice systems, health, employment, education. When looked at individually without the benefit of context or history, these can seem like moments in time or issues of the day that needed to be overcome, much like we are facing today with coronavirus or smallpox and influenza before them. However, when we peel back the onion and view it under the lens of systemic racism, we see how it is the tie that binds all of these issues of the day and persists and remains pervasive throughout our lives and our experiences. I believe in order to fundamentally change the systems that have held us back and in place for generations, we have to recognize and call out these systems so that they can be dismantled. And in order to dismantle these systems, we need a renewed push for not only change, but structural upheaval and New Deal type investment into the Black community. We in the Black community must take responsibility of our own agency and drive agendas that advocate and promote economic development in our communities. Investment by us in our communities and policies and officials who aren't afraid to support our community in deeds and investment, not just in words and one-off programs. The revival we are having right now as a people can't just be another moment in time. It can't just come and go as they have in the past. We have to move for structural, institutional change to really have a long-standing effect for our community and for our children. We have to create what doesn't exist. Think outside the box to find innovative and sometimes not so innovative solutions to the problems that persist in our community. More importantly, we have to move to direct, guide, and be in charge of our own destiny as a people. We are 12.4% of the population, but our culture dominates the greater society. We have to transfer these talents, this collective energy, into business pursuits, economic development, investment in entrepreneurship, education, and housing. We can't wait for anyone else to come to our aid. We have to aid ourselves and have a movement towards doing so.